All right, Shalom. We're going to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakodash. Yahweh is the true, holy, and powerful name of the Heavenly Father. Bahasham, meaning in the name. Yahweh Shai is the true, holy, and powerful name of His only begotten Son, who is the Savior of the nation of Israel, starting off with the elect within the nation of Israel. Israel consists of you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, as well as you Israelite foreigners scattered abroad that may look like the nations where you've been scattered to, but are Israelites. And we also want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, pushing out this word in all sincerity and the truth. All right, we're the brothers from the Great Millstone branch out in Des Moines, Iowa. All right, coming back at you with another lesson inspired by the Holy Spirit, Harakak. And Lord's will. All right, I want to entitle this lesson a cautionary tale of what awaits. All right, a cautionary tale of what awaits. All right, and what inspired this was on the line. All right, we was going through different precepts and the judgment to come, and we had read a particular precept in the book of 2nd Ezra, and Lord's will eventually grab it. All right, but it was going into, the destruction to come. All right, how people are going to be searching each other's houses. As a matter of fact, we can start off with it. 2nd Ezra chapter 16, I believe it's verse 22.
This is 2nd Ezra 16 and 22.
What is that? Is that well, you can go ahead and read it. It might be further down.
It says, "For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted."
Right. Oh, go ahead.
"And the cities shall be cast down."
That's right, man. And that wasn't the specific one that I wanted, but that's fine. All right, because this is what this is going to go into, the famine. All right, the famine that's to come. See, a lot of people think that it's all fun and games, and everything's going to continue on as how it has been. That everybody's going to have access to these various resources and so on and so forth. Can easily go to the store and get your food, go to McDonald's, get your McChicken or whatever the hell, man. All right, we're coming into a time where the Lord is going to Ezekiel the 3rd chapter. Grab the last 2 verses, Bible Kushah. All right, it says the Lord's going to break the staff of bread. All right, the Lord is going to bring a famine. All right, it says how lewdness in the book of Tobit is the mother of famine. You see all this lewd behavior that's happening. Well, there's a judgment for it all, man. All right, and the judgment to come is not going to be pretty. It's going to be very gruesome, man. And we're going to go into a specific account in history in the Josephus, all right, of a woman going through 70 AD, an Israelite woman, all right, who was catching hell during that time period and what she had to experience, man, what she had to go through. And this is once again, a cautionary tale of what awaits. All right, and as the scripture says, man, unless you repent, you shall all likewise perish, man. If you don't repent and turn from your iniquities, man, the Lord is going to put you in these situations, man. All right, to where you are going to be committing cannibalism. All right, to where you are going to think about killing your own children. All right, to feed you. Right, this is what awaits. But you got it.
It's Ezekiel 3 and verse 26. It says, "And I will make thy tongue cleave to the roof of thy mouth."
Go to 4. 4 in the last 2 verses.
It says, yeah, that's what you're saying. This is Ezekiel 4 and 16. "For moreover he said unto me, Son of man, behold, I will break the staff of bread in Jerusalem, and they shall eat bread by weight and with care, and they shall drink water by measure." Right,
so it says, I will break the staff of bread, meaning that the Lord is going to cut off the food supply. All right, to where food is going to be scarce. It's going to be hard to access it, should I say. All right, because there's plenty of food to feed the masses, all right? But what's happening is we're going to be in an orchestrated famine. All right, the government seizing all the resources, all right, and not allowing you to get access to those resources unless you comply with whatever they say you need to comply with. Whether it's getting certain juice, all right, pumped into you, man, right, like they did in the last lockdown. Right, and they're talking about another lockdown coming up next month. All right, re-mandating masks, and this lockdown isn't going to be like the last one, man. It's going to be more intense, all right, more strict, all right. It's going to bring more hell upon the masses, man. People are going to be in dire straits, all right. People are going to be languishing, all right. So this ain't going to be pretty, but this is what's going to be happening. Like I said, it's an orchestrated famine, all right. So, and the main thing that they're going to put, institute, is that C-hip. That you won't have access to any of these things, access to society, access to food, or anything of that nature, unless you comply with getting the C-hip, written in Revelation 13 and 16, man. all right, that charagma, right? So these people are going to be in dire straits, man. But you can go ahead on that.
It says, and they shall drink water by measure, and with astonishment, that they may want bread and water, and be astonished one and with another, and consume away for their iniquity.
That's right, man. So these people are going to pine away, all right? A lot of people, like we read in that second Ezra, are going to perish because of the famine, man. And that is a gruesome judgment, all right? That is a gruesome judgment, man, you know? But without further ado, did you have anything else you want to grab up?
No, I was looking for something, but I haven't found it.
All right. Well, so like I mentioned, man, this is going to be reading out of the Josephus. Now, I read this account before, you know, but it's definitely prevalent in the times that we're entering into. So this is from out of the Josephus, and the chapter of this, let me see. This is, I just want to find it. And really, you could look up Mary of Bethzebub, all right, on just on Google, and it'll give you a synopsis of the account that we're going to read, just not in as much depth, but I mean, okay, so it's book 6, and it says, containing the interval of about 1 month from the great extremity to which the Jews were reduced to the taking of Jerusalem by Titus. All right, and the chapter that we're going to be reading is from out of chapter 3. It says, concerning a stratagem that was devised by the Jews, by which they burnt many of the Romans, with another description of the terrible famine that was in the city. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna jump down here in paragraph 3. It says, now, let me see, Salakia, just want to make sure I get my notes. All right. So it says, now of those that perished by famine in the city, now once again, this is during 70 AD. All right, which was prophesied about in the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, which we're going to grab as well, are the calamities that the Lord was going to have our people go through because of their disobedience, their rebellion, right? It says, now, of those that perished by famine in the city, the number was prodigious. All right, now that word prodigious, when you look it up, it says remarkably or impressively great in extent, size, or degree. All right, and that's what we read in 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter. All right, it says many shall perish of famine. So a lot of people are going to die just based off of the famine alone. All right, and it says, they that escape the famine shall the sword destroy. All right, so this is a judgment that these people are not going to be able to escape. If the Lord has a hit out on you, there's no way to escape it, man. And if you happen to escape, it's the Lord preserving you. All right, if of what? Of the nuclear destruction, of more calamities to go through, right? You know, so this is what's awaiting. This is what's ahead. It says, for if so much, I'm gonna read it from the top. Now, those that perished by famine in the city, the number was prodigious, and the miseries they underwent were unspeakable. For if so much as the shadow of any kind of food did anywhere appear, a war was commenced presently. All right, and it talks about what? In that 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter, it talks about the men dying in the wars. Well, one of those wars is going to be the wars because of what? Fighting for food, man. All right, as a matter of fact, let's grab that. 2nd Ezra, I believe it's 16 as well. All right, 2nd Ezra 16, and
Talking about they shall spoil the houses for lack of bread.
yeah, but it's all right, just start at verse 28, Bob Rashad.
This 2nd Ezra 16 and 28, it says, for of a city there shall be 10 left, and 2 of the field which shall hide themselves in thick groves and in the clefts of the rocks.
Right, so why are people going to be hiding themselves, man? All right, they're going to be hiding themselves because of what? The destruction that's outside. You're going to have troops that are walking down, all right, checking houses, killing people, right? This is what awaits, man, you know? But go ahead.
I was going to mention earlier that Revelations 12 and 12, the devil coming down having great wrath because he knows that he had but a short time. That's going to be a big reason why all this is happening. Ultimately, it's just the judgment of the Lord.
That's right.
But it says, chapter 16, verse 29, as in a orchard of olives, upon every tree there is left 3 or 4 olives, or as when a vineyard is gathered there are left some clusters of them that diligently seek through the vineyard.
Right, so imagine somebody plucking, you know, olives or grapes or whatever the case it may be. Let's say they're trying to pluck everything that they can. After they leave, there still might be 2 or 3 grapes that are left, you know, only a few, but go ahead.
Even so, in those days, there shall be 3 or 4 left by them that search their houses with the sword.
So it says that what, man? There should be a couple left after they are done searching the houses with the sword, man. So you're going to have militia groups that are coming together, banding together to gather up food, right? I believe they showed you that in the movie The Road. All right, you had a certain militia group. They were going by hunting people out, right? And they were taking people, throwing them in the basement and using them for food, man. Cannibalism, right? So things like this are going to be happening, man. In the book of Ecclesiastes, it says that which been is that which shall be. Come on, you got it.
This is Ecclesiastes 1:9. It says the thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun.
Right, so we're reading a historical account, all right, of what was going down in 70 AD, but in this time period, it's going to be a lot worse, man. Like it says in the book of Daniel, the 12th chapter. All right, it says like a time like no other, Daniel 12:1. So whatever we can read about in history, whatever we can read about even in the scriptures, man. All right, like we can read about how the northern kingdom got besieged, man. You had that account of those 2 women, all right, planning on killing their children, all right, for food. And the one woman, all right, she said that we'll eat my child or eat your child today and my child the next day. All right, and the woman ran off on her, man. All right, so these are different things that were physically happening, man. Different accounts that were actually happening. It's going to be way worse in this time period, man. But you got it.
This is Daniel 12:12. It says
Daniel 12:1.
Yep, Saki. It says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time.
Right, so we're coming into a time of trouble like no other. All right, the scriptures talk about that in the book of Jeremiah, a time of Jacob's trouble. All right, but it says that he shall be saved out of it, that he is those that are written in the book, as it's going to say in that Daniel the 12th chapter, man. Right? So we're looking to be saved from the coming calamities. In the book of 2nd Ezra, the 7th chapter, says how the Lord has given straight commandment on what such should observe to avoid the punishment. So this is what we're trying to avoid. That's why it says through the terror of the Lord, we persuade men. All right? For the Lord to put you in a situation so bad to where you considering eating your child, all right, or you eating your own limbs, like it talks about in the book of Isaiah, the 9th chapter, this is how bad it's going to get. And this is the wrath of the Lord, of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, that's going to be poured out upon this place, man. So this isn't no laughing matter. This ain't the time to be joking around. All right, this is the time to be taking our salvation seriously, man, because the Lord can leave you out here. All right, it says that in the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15 and verse 26, it says, for the Lord knoweth all them that sin against him, and therefore delivereth he them unto death and destruction. And this is what we're about to witness. The Lord delivering masses of people to death and destruction, right? For now are the plagues come upon the whole earth, and ye shall remain in them. For the Most High shall not deliver you, because ye have sinned against him. All right, so once again, this is what awaits. All right, the Lord is going to have people to remain in these plagues and these torments, like it says in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter, that they shall dwell in torments, right? And this is one of the most tormenting ways that a person can die, is pining away because of the famine. All right, as we're going to grab in the book of Lamentations in a little bit, Lord will. But you got more in that, Daniel, to finish it out?
Yep, it says, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. Right,
and those that are going to be delivered is the elect, all right, those that turn from transgressions in Jacob, as it says in the book of Isaiah, the 59th chapter. It says the Redeemer shall come to Zion, and unto them that turn from transgressions in Jacob. The Redeemer is who? Our Lord, the Messiah, Yahweh Shai. But he's only going to come to those that are repenting. All right, so this is the consequences. What we're reading about is being put in these different situations, man. The consequences of not repenting and turning to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. But you can go back to that 2nd Ezra. Unless you got something, too, you can grab it.
Khan, just wanted to grab this Hebrews real quick.
Khan.
This is Hebrews 11.
Yep.
And verse 1, or not 1, but verse 7. It says, by faith, Noah being warned of the Most High of things not seen as yet, moved with fear.
So it starts off with faith.
Yep.
All right, because we're hearing these threats, we're reading in the scriptures about the famine that's to come. All all right, different accounts, different things that the Lord has allowed our people to suffer and go through, right? But we have to believe that the Lord is not joking around, man. You got people that hear these things and they say, what, man? Neither will the Lord do good, neither will he do evil. They don't really think that the Lord is going to bring these things upon them, or it's going to happen, or that it could happen unto them. All right. But if we're acknowledging like, nah, the Lord is really going to do this, all right, that's going to, you would have to move in fear of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, because you know he's the one that's bringing it, and you know that he's the only way that can deliver you out of it. He is the deliverer, and he's also the king of terrors. All right. So he's the power to be feared and reverenced if you want to escape the judgment to come.
Right. It said, shall there be evil in the city and the Lord Yahweh have not done it?
That's right.
The Lord's in control of the right hand and the left, so it'd be good for you to get on the Lord's right side, the good side.
Yeah.
You do that by fearing him. What does it say? The scriptures speak about how the mercy.
I got you. This is Psalm chapter 103 and verse 17. But the mercy of the Lord is from everlasting to everlasting upon them that fear him, and his righteousness unto children's children.
Right. That's as plain as it gets. The Lord is going to show mercy unto those that fear him, that those that move in that obedient spirit. Right. It said that the Lord desires obedience rather than sacrifice. Right. That's what the Lord wants his people to do, is to do what he says. All right. Or else these things are going to come upon you, like the brother mentioned earlier. Except you repent, you shall all likewise perish. Right. Now it's out of Yahweh Shai's mouth. Right. Yahweh Shai, people think Yahweh Shai is all soft and Yahweh is just a power that you can play around with, and he's not going to do nothing if you don't listen to him. But that's not the case. The Lord's coming back angry.
That's right. That's right. Hey, just to even add on that point, this is the book of 2 Ezra, chapter 8, and verse 56. It says, I'm going to start at verse 55. And therefore ask thou no more questions concerning the multitude of them that perish. For when they had taken liberty, they despised the Most High, thought scorn of his law, and forsook his ways. Moreover, they have trodden down his righteousness, and this is what our people are doing. All right, the doors of repentance are open. You're given an opportunity to turn away from your iniquities, but our people continue to move forward in their wickedness, man. Right? So what's going to be the consequences? It says, and said in their heart that there is no God, yea, and that knowing they must die. All right, and that's plain to the point. It says, and that knowing they must die. In the book of Jeremiah, the 16th chapter, it says that they shall die of grievous deaths. And when you read that Jeremiah, the 16th chapter, it was a prophecy concerning the things that were going to happen in the siege of Jerusalem, man. All right, how our people were dying of grievous deaths. All right, so once again, it's not a light thing, man. It says, for as the things aforesaid shall receive you, so thirst and pain are prepared for them, for it was not his will that men should come to naught. So it says thirst and pain are going to be prepared for those that reject ultimately Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. Or reject this word, right? You want to go back to that in 2 Ezra, unless you got more on where you at?
Yeah, I'm just going to finish this and I'll go back. It says, by faith Noah, being warned of the Most High of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house, by the which he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness which is by faith. Right, so Noah was saved ultimately through that fear and that faith that he was moving in. And it's the same blueprint that we need to move according to in these times that we're in now.
That's right. That's right. That's right. We can go back to that 2 Ezra's Bible for sure.
This is 2 Ezra's 16 and 28. It says,
that's all good. 2 Ezra 16 and verse 26.
It says, it's verse 26. It says, the grapes shall ripen, and who shall tread them? For all places shall be desolate of men, so that one man shall desire to see another and to hear his voice. For of a city there shall be 10 left, and 2 of the field which shall hide themselves in the thick groves and in the clefts of the rocks.
Right, okay, yeah, so like we read this, but go ahead.
It says, as in an orchard of olives, upon every tree there are left 3 or 4 olives, or as when a vineyard is gathered, there are left some clusters of them that diligently seek through the vineyard. Even so, in those days, there shall be 3 or 4 left by them that search the houses with the sword. Right,
now, you can pull up the group me and pull up that GNT of that particular verse. All right, because I know I had mentioned earlier, man, about troops coming in, right? You know, gunning down people. It says that in the book of 2 Ezra as well. The 15th chapter says that there shall be a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord, right? They shall be like madmen, sparing none, spoiling and destroying. All right. So this is what's going to be happening, man. Troops on the ground, kicking down doors, AKs at people's heads, firing squads, all right, guillotines, public executions. This is all coming down the pipes. Once again, a lot of people don't believe that these things are going to be happening, but this is being prepared, man. These lockdowns that are coming, all right, they're going to only intensify, man. Draconian laws, right? You speaking anything against the government. See, right now they're shutting down people's bank accounts for tweeting something that wasn't politically correct or against the agenda. They're shutting down your bank account. It's going to come to a point to where if you're speaking against this agenda, man, they're going to actually come down and hunt you out, come down and kill you, man. All right, so this is the atmosphere that's being created that we're about to walk into. That's why we need great faith. All right, that's why we need to have the spirit to endure what's to come. A covering, divine intervention. This is the only way we'll make it up out of here. But you got it.
Yeah. And this is all about to take place in these times that we're in with all Esau's technology. Scriptures speak about the sword being sharpened. So shall we then make mirth? Right. So this is gonna be some things happening on the earth like we ain't never seen before, like that Daniel 12 is going into.
That's right. That's right.
But also, scriptures say that this is the time where much glory doth abide. And so, just like the brothers going into, we need that great faith, right? Because the Lord's going to lift up the standard for those that have put that trust in Him.
Yeah.
Like it speaks about it speaks about the remnant trusting in the Lord in Isaiah 10 and 20. Like that's what they're going to be doing. They're going to have that standard lifted up for them. The Lord's going to fight for them in these times that we're coming into. But we just have to keep that faith and that fear.
That's right. That's right.
But it says this is the G and T of that second.
You can just read that main part.
It says when grapes in a vineyard are picked.
What verse is that though?
Verse 30.
All right.
2nd Ezra 16.
And 30 in the GNT. Go ahead.
It says when grapes in a vineyard are picked, a few bunches may be left even by those who look carefully. That is how it will be in those days. 3 or 4 will be missed by the soldiers who search through their houses to kill everyone.
That's right, man. So that's plain to the point, man. You're going to have troops going through houses, killing everything, man. Destroying everything. You might have a little girl, all right, family, dad died, mother just got slayed down. They hid her in the attic. The troops missed her. Now she's left desolate. These are the types of situations that's going to be going down, man. You know? This is the reality that we're walking into, man. But you can keep reading in the KJV.
It says, verse 31, and the earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and her ways.
Verse 32.
31, it says, even so in those days there shall be 3 or 4 left by them that search their houses with the sword, and the earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man shall travel therethrough.
Right, so you got to imagine that, man. You had troops that was coming in, all right, they pounding up everybody, making sure everybody got C-hipped, right? Throwing people into these concentration camps and 15-minute cities and so on and so forth, man. The land, this is going to be cities that's going to be completely desolate of people, man. All right, cities that could be the size of Chicago. All right, only a couple people left in the whole city, man. All right, they done rounded up everybody, send them into captivity, right? You know? So it's painting the picture. And when these things like this happen, then what? You're going to have the roadways. All right, you're going to have plants growing over them, man. Vines going up buildings, right? They show you a depiction of this in the movie War of the Worlds. Or not War of the Worlds, but I Am Legend, right? We spoke about that on the line, man. All right, wild creatures roaming in the streets, okay? There was another movie, man, with Forrest Whitaker. Man, what is it called? It just recently came out in the past like couple of years. It might be called The End, or This Is the End, or something like that, man. All right, but in the movie, it was Forrest Whitaker. He was the father of the main character's wife. All right, and shit had cracked. All right, and she was all the way in another city. All right, you couldn't go take any flights or anything like that. Communication was cut off and everything like that. So Forrest Whitaker and his son-in-law were going down, traveling, all right, across the country in a car to go get his wife, man. All right, they had to deal with different people trying to, you know, steal from him, you know, all types of calamities they were going through. Different cities were desolate. You had people walking through fields. It was just all types of madness, man. When society collapses, man, it's gonna get real ugly. It's gonna be real bad. And once again, that's when the divine intervention, you're gonna really see it. All right, it's gonna be made manifest. The Lord will give every needful thing in due season. But this is all painting a picture of the atmosphere that we're about to walk into, man. All right, this everyday life of you going to your desk job, or now clocking into your 9 to 5 and this and that and the third. All that's about to be at an end very soon, man. All right, very soon. Okay, people are gonna be out here just trying to survive. All right, however they see fit, they need to do it. You gonna have women that's gonna be selling their bodies. All right, you have men. All right, traveling, hunting down people for food. Killing each other. Right, this is what's gonna go down. But keep reading.
It's back in 2nd Ezra.
And then we'll get back into this account.
It says, verse 33, the virgins shall mourn having no bridegroom, and the women shall have, and the virgins shall mourn having no bridegroom, the women shall mourn having no husband.
What happened to all the men? All right. Virgins having no bridegrooms, no husbands. Where are all the men at? Go ahead.
It says, their daughters shall mourn having no helpers. In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husband shall perish of famine.
Right, and that was the main point. We read all that really to get to this point, man. All right, because going back into this account in the Josephus, it said that what? All right, that it was wars that was breaking out over just even the shadow of food, man. Somebody think they saw some food on the ground. Niggas trampling, fighting over it, killing each other over it, man.
Man, even in that siege of Assyria, I believe it was, that you mentioned earlier, you spoke about how they were collecting bird shit.
Yeah, like, dove's dung.
Yeah, and they was selling. They sold a donkey's head for a certain price. Roughly paraphrasing the account, just showing how scarce things is gonna get.
That's right, man. So I'm gonna go back and read this in the Josephus. It says, for if so much as the shadow of any kind of food did anywhere appear, a war was commenced presently. So a lot of men are going to die in that day, man, trying to provide for their households. All right. He's trying to feed his family, man. He goes out to get food and he just never comes back. Day goes by, 2 days go by, right? Then what? That woman's going to be left desolate. All right. Needing help. The scripture says they shall mourn having no helpers, man. See, women walking around like they independent. I don't need no man, and this and that and the third. You're going to wish you had a man in that day, all right? And you're going to wish you had a man of the Lord in that day, because he's going to be the only one that's going to be protected, all right, and provided for, man, through divine intervention, through Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man, all right? But it says, a war was commenced presently, and the dearest friends fell a fighting one with another about it, snatching from each other the most miserable supports of life, man. So what does it say? The love of many shall wax cold. All right, you can grab 2nd Ezra, let me see, 15 and 19.
2nd Ezra 15 and 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation. Right,
so when that lack of bread and great tribulation comes in, this is when you see people start acting like this, man. All right, start bugging out, killing each other, right, over some food, man. This is how bad it's gonna get. All right, I'm gonna read that part again in the Josephus. It says, and the dearest friends fell a fighting one with another about it, snatching from each other the most miserable supports of life, man. So anything they had, man, they was taking it from each other, betraying one another, right? These things are going to continue to intensify, man. You have more on that?
No.
Khan, it says, nor would men believe that those who were dying had no food, but the robbers would search them when they were expiring, lest anyone should have concealed food in their bosom and counterfeited dying. So they were so bugged out, they was thinking that people was acting like they was dying, So then you would think, oh, that nigga ain't got no food. He dying himself, all right? But lo and behold, he's hiding food, all right, under his shirt somewhere, This is how bad it is. This is how bad it gets. Look at these conditions, man. People faking their death, all right, trying to act like they ain't got food so people won't steal it, man, okay? And then people so bugged out, people really didn't have food and they were still hounding them down, right? But showing you what these militia groups, people coming together, hunting out for food. It says, nay, these robbers gaped for want, meaning for lack, and ran about stumbling and staggering along like mad dogs, and reeling against the doors of the houses like drunken men. They would also, in the great distress they were in, rush into the very same houses 2 or 3 times in one and the same day. Didn't we just read about them? All right, they're going into their houses because of the lack of bread, you know, your best friend, your homie, your cousin, anybody, man, in that day, it'll turn on you, man. All right, this is what's coming down the pike once again.
There's not going to be no type of law enforcement or anything to regulate anything like that. This is going to be all out anarchy, right? It's going to be survival of the fittest.
Yep.
But I had this one.
Go ahead.
This is 2nd Ezra 15 and 16. Just going up a little bit, we just read. For there shall be sedition among men.
You can start at 14 then. Bible shop.
It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their own power. Right, and that's it. People's gonna be doing whatever they want. Right? There's not gonna be no type of higher governmental system, for lack of better words, controlling what these people do. Right? People just, like I said earlier, gonna be moving according to their own will, survival of the fittest. If you ain't strong, you're not gonna survive. But the men of the Lord are gonna be the strongest because they're gonna be fortified with this wisdom.
Yep.
It says in Isaiah 33 and 6, wisdom and knowledge shall be stability to thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. Right, so the men of the Lord are going to be rich in that day. Right, the men of the Lord, right, you speaking about the women earlier, they're going to want a man of the Lord's because, like the book Isaiah 13 speaks about, it says that a man shall be made more precious than fine gold. Right, man of the Lord's not going to need protection from a man because he's going to be having, for men, like the police and all that, the government, whatever, because they're going to have that protection from Yahweh Bashim Yahushai.
Yeah, we're gonna have angels encamped round about. We have angels encamped round about us right now, but they're gonna manifest themselves, man. Chariots, divine intervention on that behalf. This is what's gonna be happening, man. And these people gonna see it. All right, the Lord is. The scriptures talk about how the Lord is gonna show His might in the sight of all the nations. Roughly paraphrasing it, man. All right, He's gonna show forth who He's with, and it's gonna be through power. All right, it's gonna be through power, man. So in that day, like the brother quoted that precept, man. Yeah, a man of the Lord is gonna be very precious in that day. A woman ain't gonna have nothing to say. When you're in these types of situations, man, that we're reading about, all right. Look, all you got, who you been talking to, and you know what I'm saying. Oh, you got other women, and all that goes out the window. All right, they gonna want to survive. Anything I can do to be right here with you. I'm not trying to be out there going against, all right, a group of niggas running in my crib, running through me, raping me multiple times, right, and then still not having no food. Take care of myself. They ain't gonna want to go through that. It's gonna be an easy choice. I'll deal with any man, all right, that can protect and guide me, all right. That's how these women are gonna be in that day. That's why it's gonna go into that Isaiah 4:1, all right, because of when all this hell breaks loose, man, they're gonna be begging to be with a man that can guide them and protect them in these times to come, man. And that's gonna be a true servant of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai.
Right, the man that has that direction, right? The scriptures speak about how that there's gonna be great confusion that's gonna come, right? But the men of the Lord is they're not gonna be confused. They're gonna know just to move according to the Spirit. Yep. Move according to the ways of the Lord.
That's right. That's right. It says, did you have more in
No, that was it.
Back in Josephus, it says they would also, in the great distress they were in, rush into the very same houses 2 or 3 times and one in the same day. All right, now what do you think these bugged out niggas is gonna do, man? All right, they looking for food, but they see a woman, they gonna satisfy their carnal desire, man. They said 2 or 3 times a day going into the same house, man. This is gonna go down, man. These women that's out here being sluts, proud, and everything like that, man. A brutal judgment awaits. We read about one of those judgments in the book of Judges, the 19th chapter. A woman that decided to play the harlot on her husband, right? The Lord had her get judged by getting ran through by some sodomites, man. All right, a bunch of sodomites. All right, raped her until the morning, man, to where she had to crawl to the doorstep, and as soon as she got to the doorstep, she dropped dead. You know, That's just one gruesome account, man. And the Lord, look at here, the pride of these people, these different individuals, man. That's why I says great miseries is going to come upon them that are upon the earth because they have walked in great pride, man. That's just the tip of the iceberg. These are things that we can read about, man. Wait until it's actually going down. What the Lord is going to allow these people to suffer and go through, man, because of their wickedness. Your damn sexy reds and whatever the man, nasty whores, nasty adulterous niggas, right? They gonna get it, man. But it says, moreover, their hunger was so intolerable that it obliged them to chew everything, while they gathered such things as the most sordid animals would not touch, and endured to eat them. Nor did they at length abstain from girdles and shoes, and the very leather which belonged to their shields they pulled off and gnawed. So imagine you so hungry, man, you just say, fuck it, man, I'm finna eat these damn shoes I got on, man. Your J's that you was boasting about, like, look at these $300 J's I got on. Yeah, you gonna eat them motherfuckers, man. It's gonna get that bad. You ain't got no food. You pulling off tree bark, trying to eat it, starving, man, pining away. This is a gruesome judgment that's coming, man. This is how bad it was. People were literally eating your damn belt, your Gucci belt, all right? Your Louis V's, all right? People are going to be brought to a point to where they're going to eat those things, man. Once again, people don't think these things is going to happen, but it's happened already, and it's going to happen again on a mass scale. It says the very whips of old hay, or the very wisp of old hay, became food to some, and some gathered up fibers and sold a very small weight of them for 4 attic, which is drachm, or however it's pronounced, right? The Roman money that they were using. But it says, but why should I describe the shameless impudence that the famine brought the men in their eating inanimate things, while I'm going to relate a matter of fact, the like to which no history relates, either among the Greeks or barbarians? It is horrible to speak of it, and incredible when heard. All right, and what he's going to go into is this account about this woman that I was speaking about earlier, man. But before we read this account, let's grab Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter of this being prophesied. What we're about to read about was already prophesied to happen. Deuteronomy 28, and you can start at verse 52. And could you bring it up in the NLT as well, Baba Bashar? We'll read it in the KJV first, and then we'll read it in the NLT.
This is Deuteronomy 28 and verse 52.
We'll go from 52 to 58, Lord's will.
It says, and he shall besiege thee in all thy gates until the high and fenced walls come down, wherein thou trustest.
Right, and this is what exactly happened. If I would have read in a different account in the Josephus, it literally goes into them, all right, bringing down our gates, all right, burning our temple, right? So this is being prophesied of what we're reading about here in history in the Josephus, all right, the siege of Jerusalem in 70 AD, right? But let's keep reading.
It says, throughout all thy land, and he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout all thy land, which the Lord Yahweh thy power hath given thee. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body, and the flesh of thy sons, and the flesh of thy daughters, which the Lord Yahweh thy power hath given thee in the siege, and in the straitness wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee. Right,
so the Lord was like, when the siege happens, man, it's going to be so bad, I'm going to put you in such a horrible condition that you're going to eat your children. All right? That's how bad, okay? And if we would have read the 15th, I think the 15th verse, this is a judgment because of what? Our disobedience. All right, and showing you who the children of Israel are, man, who went through this, man. He even said this hasn't even been recorded among the Greeks and the barbarians. All right? Of what are certain things that our forefathers were going through in the siege of Jerusalem, man. Okay, it says the things that have come upon thee have no other nation gone through. Roughly paraphrasing that in the book of Daniel, I believe, or it could be Zechariah. You know,
it says, verse 54, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother.
Right, now we always use this for the most part. We talk about the Latino on Latino crime, or the so-called black on black crime, right? You know, how our brothers' eyes are evil to each other, and you know, that's one fold, but this is actually going into, in that siege, all right, the condition that everybody was in, that love of many waxing cold, man. Let's see how bad it was. You got it.
It says, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave, so that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children, whom he shall eat.
Right, so what it's saying is, we're going to read in the NLT, but here it is, he boiled, cooked one of his children, all right, and he's so hungry and starving that he don't even give a damn about giving his other children a piece of that flesh that he cooked. You know, his eye being evil towards them of his own household, man. This is how bad it was during that siege. And once again, something worse is coming. A worse siege is coming, all right? A worse famine is coming. Go ahead.
It says, because he hath nothing left in because he hath nothing left him in the siege, and in the straitness wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in all thy gates. That, right, and this is what's going to take place now, right? That it's going to be a digital siege that Esau is doing in these times, right? He's going to have his different technologies, right, restricting people from doing certain things, right? He's going to and ultimately going into that C-hip, right? If you don't take the C-hip, you're not going to be able to participate into society. You won't be able to feed yourself, right? People are going to be not be able to sustain themselves because of the siege that Esau is going to be putting on people in these days that we're coming into now.
That's right. Because when you look up a siege, man, the word siege, just a Google definition, it pretty much says when the enemy encamps around an area or people, all right, to cut off their resources, man, to force those that are inside to surrender, roughly paraphrasing the definition itself. So that's what he's doing. All right, he's cutting off the resources, not by just surrounding a city. All right, see, back then we had walls that actually surrounded the city. Well, these different towns, they don't have walls like they did in the ancient world, where you can't go from here it is, you can't go to Chicago or this area, all right, unless you go through physical city walls, all right? Nah. Okay, but what is he doing? He's still getting control of all the resources and not allowing you to get access to them, all right, unless what? You abide by certain rules and regulations. And this is how he's doing this siege today. Like the brother said, it's a digital siege, man, okay? Even with certain stores, see, those sieges in the ancient world, like the siege of Jerusalem, I looked it up, did the math on it earlier today, but the siege of Jerusalem, when Zedekiah got took, all right, from the time that the siege began until when the famine broke sore and they broke into the city, that siege was almost a year and a half. It was like a year and 4 months and a couple of days. It tells you the specific times on it. The siege when the Assyrians came in and besieged the northern kingdom, I believe that siege was 3 years, if I'm not mistaken. But it took that long of a time, and to the point to where people were actually eating their children, to where they were starving, right? Because what, in that city, they had enough resources in their storehouses and so on and so forth, right, to where they could last that long until they got to that point. See, in this society, every store for the most part only has resources for about, what, 3 days, all right, of shelf life, all right, and that's not even considering panic buying. So if there's panic buying that's happening, everything that's in the store is going to be taken out that day. There's nothing that's coming in and coming out. So in a matter of 1 week, all of the resources in one whole city can be stripped away. People try to hoard it up, gather it up, right? So then that's when people are going to have to start going into people's houses. Well, if there ain't no food at the stores, all right, that's why it says that they're going to be invading people's houses. They already went to the stores and got what they needed, and there ain't nothing there. So now they got to go to people's houses and gather up what they can. Now they got to go kill for it, right? But that's going to happen like that in this society. That's the point that I'm bringing out. It ain't going to take 3 years or a year and a half until where people get to that point to where they're eating their children, all right, because they got enough resources that could last them a whole year. Nah, all right? This is going to be in a matter of weeks where people are going to get that desperate, man. But you, was I reading or you got it? Oh, you reading that Deuteronomy, yep.
It's back in Deuteronomy, it says, verse 55, so that he will not give to any of them of his flesh of his children whom he shall eat, because he hath nothing left in him in the siege and in the straitness wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee in all thy gates. The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eyes shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter, and toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children which she shall bear, for she shall eat them for want of all things secretly in the siege and straitness wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee in thy gates.
That's right, man. And what we're about to read about is a woman that will be considered tender and delicate. All right, she was a woman of high status. That's what we're going to read into. But before we read it, I'm going to read that in the NLT. You can start at verse 53 and read through 58 again, and then we'll jump into the rest of this account and finish it out. Lord's will.
This is Deuteronomy 28 and 53 in the NLT. It says, the siege and terrible distress of thine enemy's attack will be so severe that you will eat the flesh of your own sons and daughters.
Right, so severe. This is how bad it's gonna get, man. All right, go ahead.
Whom the Lord.
And this is the estate that Esau wants the people to be in. All right, because once again, going back to that definition of a siege, all right, he's trying to make those conditions so bad to where you're gonna willingly submit. You're gonna be begging to take the sea hit. All right, when conditions get this bad, all right, when your option, and that's these people, because the elect is gonna trust in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, like the brother quoted that Isaiah the 10th chapter. In the book of Revelation, it talked about how they got victory over the beast, his image, and his M-A-R-K. All right, so none of the elect is gonna take that sea hit regardless of how bad the conditions may get. All right, they'll rather lay down their lives. Like it says, those that were beheaded, all right, for not for the witness and the testimony of Yahweh Shine, for not receiving his M-A-R-K, man. So that's the mentality of the elect. But the rest of these people, if conditions are that bad, what are they gonna carnally choose to do regardless? Either eat my children or take this sea hit, all right, and be able to eat. What are they gonna choose? The option is easy. They're gonna choose the sea hit. So however it plays out, whether Esau decides to wait to roll this out until conditions get that bad, all right, or it's rolled out in certain areas and certain people got access to it, however it's gonna happen, man. We know that a lot of people are gonna die of famine, all right? And we know that some people are going to be eating, going to be able to eat, all right, and continue to function in whatever city that they're in, all right, because of what? Them getting that sea hit. But that's not going to exempt them from the great wrath that Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, man, all right? You're going to have people that might have already went through all their children being eaten, okay, going through a famine, all right, and then all of a sudden they crawl their ass to a city where they got a checkpoint to where you can get the sea hit, man. So you went through all that, then you turn around and get the sea hit, and now you're waiting for nuclear destruction after you went through all that hell. The Lord's going to be having different scenarios like this, man, to bring in a judgment that's meet, all right, for these people, man. But you got it back.
It says, verse 54, in Deuteronomy 28, it says, the most tender-hearted man among you will have no compassion for his own brother, his beloved wife, and his surviving children. He will refuse to share with them the flesh he is devouring, the flesh of one of his own children.
Right, so like I was saying, here it is. He devoured one of his own children, cut it up in pieces. He got a little bit left over. His other children starving, his wife starving. And he like, man, fuck that, man. I need to eat. I ain't finna, man. Them little niggas, that little bitch, she gonna have to starve. I'm eating this. That's how bad it's gonna get. This nigga could have been a whole simping over his woman. He turned around and say, fuck that. Woman thought he was gonna hold it down for her, turn on him, man. You know, this is gonna be bad out here, man. A lot of betrayal. But go ahead.
Because he has nothing else to eat during the siege and terribleness and terrible distress that your enemy will inflict on all your towns. The most tender and delicate woman among you, so delicate she would not so much as touch the ground with her foot, will be selfish toward the husband she loves and toward her own son or daughter. She will hide from them the afterbirth and the new baby she has born, so that she herself can secretly eat them.
Man, you know how bad that is? This is a woman that actually cared about her child. All right, here it is, man. You got this family, man. She's been carrying this baby for so long. They've been going through hell together in the midst of martial law, different types of shit. The husband, he been able to go get food for her this whole time, fighting. It gets tough, right? All he cared about his family, man. Here it is. He go out to grab some food. She ended up having a child, all right? And then next thing you know, man, she turned around, she cut him up to eat him, all right? Trying to tuck him away, hide him, you know? This is what's gonna be going down, man. He comes back to realize that his child got cut up, man. All right, and this bitch ate her, you know? Didn't even save none for him. Bro, talk about hard times, man. In the book of Ezekiel, the 7th chapter says, evil and only evil, behold, it's come, the end is come, the end is come, and watch for thee, behold, it is come. When the Lord pours out his wrath, man, it's going to be gruesome. It's going to be ugly. But once again, the Lord said that these things was going to happen, man. Was there any more on that?
It says, she will have nothing else to eat during the siege and terrible distress that your enemy will inflict on all your towns.
Yep. That's it. Grab Lamentations 4 and 9 on deck. Now, I'm going to go back to this in the Josephus, all right? And we'll finish off on this account. But this is in the Josephus again. It says, now there was a certain woman that dwelt beyond Jordan. Her name was Mary. Her father was Eleazar of the village of Bethzab, which signifies the house of Hyssop. She was eminent for her family and her wealth, right? So this is a woman that's well off, had great status, right? Prominent, okay? Probably proud as hell, okay? But it says, and had fled away to Jerusalem with the rest of the multitude, and was with them besieged therein at this time. And this shows you that people weren't hearkening unto the voice of Yahushua, because when Yahushua was on the scene, what did he say? When you see Jerusalem compassed about with armies, flee ye to the mountains. But as we read here, you have multitudes that were fleeing to Jerusalem. And then when you read in the other accounts in the Josephus, it talks about how the Romans were paying off different leaders, all right, Israelite leaders, to teach to the people to go to the temple, to make it easier for them to come down and slaughter them all at once, right? But if you were hearkening into the voice of Yahushua and his prophets that came after him, his disciples, if you would continue steadfastly in the apostles' doctrine, you were able to escape the siege of Jerusalem in 70 AD. But for not hearkening unto his voice, these are the calamities that they went through. All right? Just to throw that out there. It says, the other effects of this woman, it says the other effects of this woman had been already seized upon, such, as she had brought with her out of Perea and removed to the city. So everything that she had, you have different groups of individuals that was coming by and stripping her of everything, man. All right? Taking her of everything. It reminds me actually of the book of Isaiah, the 3rd chapter, man. They talk about how the tinkling ornaments was going to be taken away. All right. They were going to be stripped bare, roughly paraphrasing that, man. Okay. So this woman that had high status at one point, she was stripped down to nothing. All right. Humbled greatly. Right. It says, what she had treasured up besides had also been carried off by the rapacious guards who came every day running into her house for that purpose. So they came in every single day, sometimes multiple times a day, running through her crib, taking everything that she had. Any valuables she had, any food that she had, right, was being taken away. All right, and as we're going to read, man, she clearly didn't have a man. All right, doesn't matter. We don't know if her man got killed already, could have ran off, left her alone, right? She was left alone with a child. Don't you think in this day she would have wished that she had a man with her? All right. Somebody that could protect and guide her, right? She wasn't independent in this time, man. She needed somebody to help and defend her, man. It says she had provoked them to anger against her. Let me read up again. It says, this put the poor woman in a great... it says, who came every day running into her house for that purpose. This put the poor woman into a very great passion, meaning great sufferings. And by the frequent reproaches and imprecations, she cast at these rapacious villains, meaning that when they was coming in, she was just yelling at them and cursing them out, which that's all the bitch could do. All right? Hey, your defense, you wasn't able to, what you was going to whoop their ass? A group of men coming in, what you was going to turn into Superwoman? Nah, all she could do is yell and scream and cry. All right? Maybe hit him on the arm a couple of times. They just brushing her off, pushing her away.
Throw something at him.
Yeah, throw some shit at her. They so hungry, they ain't even giving a damn. They don't care so much to where they left her alive. All right? They ain't even, man, let's just put this bitch out of her misery. Nah, they left her alive, man. It says by the frequent reproaches and imprecations, she cast at these rapacious villains. She had provoked them to anger against her. But none of them, either out of the indignation she had raised against herself or out of the commiseration of her case, would take her life, right? So they was pretty much saying, like, look, here it is, she's yelling at him, and they wouldn't even take her life, So, and ultimately that was the will of the Lord, man, just allowing her to suffer to go through that, man. all right, to go through what she had to eventually do, as we're going to read. It says, and if she found any food, it says, and if she found any food, she perceived her labors were for others and not for herself. All right, and it was now become impossible for her anyway to find any more food, while the famine pierced through her very bowels and marrow, when also her passion was fired to a degree beyond the famine itself. Nor did she console with anything but with her passion and the necessity she was in. All right, so here it is. She recognized, like, look, even if I go and try and find food, man, as soon as I get it, somebody's gonna come and take it. All right, she was miserable, man. Okay, no way out. All right, the scriptures say in the book of Jeremiah, the 11th chapter, that the Lord will bring evil upon the people, that they shall not be able to escape. And though they cry out unto the Lord, he will not hearken unto them. So it was nothing that she could do at this point. It says, she then attempted a most unnatural thing, and snatching up her son, who was a child sucking at her breast, she said, O thou miserable infant, for whom shall I preserve thee in this war, this famine, and this sedition? Right, so she was like, am I going to keep you alive? What, to experience this famine? Am I going to keep you alive for what? You to get killed? All right, in the sedition, the uprisings, right? It says, as to the war with the Romans, if they preserve our lives, we must be slaves. This famine also will destroy us even before that slavery comes upon us. Yet are these seditious rogues more terrible than both the others. So there was no way out. She was like, look, if I try and keep you alive, all right, we're going into slavery under the Romans. But even before that happens, this famine is so severe, we're going to die of starvation anyways, man. It says, come on. It says, come on, be thou my food, and be thou a fury to these seditious varlets, and a byword to the world, which is all that is now wanting to complete the calamities of the Jews. All right. It says, as soon as she had said this, she slew her son, and then roasted him, and ate the one half of him, and kept the other half by her concealed. And that's what we read about in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. She cut up her child, cut him in half, ate one half, all right, and concealed the other, right? Now let's see what continued to happen. It says, upon this, the seditious came in presently, meaning the group, the militia groups, right? It says, upon this, the seditious came in presently, and smelling the horrid sin of this food, they threatened her that they would cut her throat immediately if she did not show them what food she had gotten ready. She replied that she had saved a very fine portion of it for them, and withal uncover what was left of her son. Hereupon they were seized with a horror and amazement of mind, and stood astonished at the sight, when she said to them, this is mine own son, and what hath been done was mine own doing. Come, eat of this food, for I have eaten of it myself. Do not you pretend to be either more tender than a woman, or more compassionate than a mother, but if you be so scrupulous, and do abominable this my sacrifice, as I have eaten the one half, let the rest be reserved for me also. So she was like, if you're so horrified by me cutting up my own son and eating up half of him, well then just let me eat the rest instead of coming in and taking it away from me, right? But this shows you the conditions that, man, that the Lord allowed to happen, man, at his wrath. And this is what awaits, all right? A lot of people are going to go through this and worse. This is just one account of what one woman went through in 70 AD, man. How much more in these times to come? That's why it says in the book of Isaiah, the 32nd chapter, it says, you can grab that Isaiah 32, what is it, verse like 8, where it talks about many years shall you be troubled, O careless woman, careless daughters.
This is Isaiah 32 and verse 10. It says, many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come.
Right, there's a lot of trouble that's coming to these women, man. All right. See, man, women and children, they gonna suffer at the worst, man. All right. Just because of the conditions, man, women and children suffer the worst in conditions like this, right? But this is what awaits, man. Go ahead.
It says, tremble, ye women that are at ease. Be troubled, ye careless ones.
Right, so here it is. This was a woman that was at ease. All right, she was comfortable, right? She had high status, stripped just like that of everything, all right? Her man, whatever happened to him, didn't mention it, but she was alone with a child, all right, and she was still breastfeeding them, showing you how young that child was, man. All right, so more than likely the man was still around, all right, at a certain point, but whatever happened to him, could have got killed, all right, trying to provide or whatever the case may be, right? But go ahead.
It says, be troubled, ye careless ones, strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. Keep going.
That's it. You know, but be in a state of mourning, man, right? And this is why, as a matter of fact, jump to verse 2 and 3.
Yeah, it says, Isaiah 32 and verse 2, it says, and a man shall be as an hiding place from the wind.
Right, and this goes back to what the brother quoted in Isaiah the 13th chapter, man. All right, a man being as fine gold, right? This is why. When conditions get this bad and it's only a servant of the Lord that's being protected, they're going to want to be in that hedge. How many women in that time, if they were in this woman's shoes, would have wanted to be with a man no matter what, no matter how many women he came with? You think that woman would have refused to be protected and covered by a man if he had 5 other women at that time? She would have just been thankful, all right, to be able to be covered. And that's how it's going to be in this time. Going back to Isaiah 4 and 1. But keep reading.
It says, a man shall be as an hiding place from the wind.
From the destruction, the calamities, right?
And a covert from the tempest.
Right, a covert from the tempest, man. Right, go ahead.
As rivers of water in a dry place.
Refreshing, all right? You know, imagine you going through a desert, man. And then all of a sudden you come across this pool of water, man. You crawl into it, man. You just thankful for it. Just drinking it up. You know what I'm saying? That's how these women gonna be, man. Oh, I'm so happy. They're gonna be, man, they're gonna be begging. Right, go ahead.
As the shadow of a great rock in a weary land.
That's right, man. All right. So that's how that man is gonna be. Okay? That man that's guided and protected. Because it says in the book of Job, the 5th chapter, it says, in 6 troubles shall he deliver thee, and 7 shall no evil touch thee. So in all these calamities and plagues that the Lord is going to bring upon this place, he's going to protect and cover his elect. All right, his servants. All right, and those that are within his household, that are continuing in faith and charity and sobriety, as it says in the book of, in the New Testament, concerning the woman, that she shall be saved in childbearing, if she continues in faith, charity, sobriety, holiness, roughly paraphrasing, then she can be still hedged, covered by that man, right? You just gonna say something?
Oh yeah, I was gonna also mention in that Job 5, it speaks about how the men of the Lord are gonna laugh at famine.
Yep.
And just showing the state that the men of the Lord are gonna be in, like how these women are gonna be grateful to find that. That's why they gotta. That's why a woman that, what's to say, the wise foreseeth the evil and hideth themselves.
Yeah, prudent man. Yep.
Yeah. That's the case with these women. This is how they need to be now. They need to get right and get with the men of the Lord. Right? And it's the same thing that the men of the Lord are doing now. They doing what they need to do to receive that covering from Yahweh Shem Yahshai for those times.
Yeah.
It speaks about Yahweh Shem Yahshai being that covering. Isaiah 30 was coming to mind. It said, woe unto them that cover with the covering, but not of my spirit. The men of the Lord are going to be covered with the spirit, covered with that covering, because they're going to be moving in the spirit of the Lord.
Yeah, covered by the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahshai, man. All right, protected and guided by our husband. All right, hedged by him. Okay, see, he's our covert from the tempest. All right, and therefore will be your covert from the tempest, from the calamities, man. Plain and simple. You know, through our obedience unto Yahweh Shem Yahshai, through the faith that he's given us, man, we'll be covered. And the same thing with the woman, right? You have more?
No, that was it.
Con. It says, do not you pretend to be, I'm just reading back up again, do not you pretend to be either more tender than a woman or more compassionate than a mother, but if ye be so scrupulous and do abominate this my sacrifice, as I've eaten the one half, let the rest be reserved for me also. After which those men went out trembling, being never so much affrighted at anything as they were at this. And with some difficulty they left the rest of that meat to the mother, upon which the whole city was full of horrid action immediately. And while everybody laid this miserable case before their own eyes, they trembled as if this unheard of action had been done by themselves. All right, so just going into that account, all right, of what that woman had to go through. All right, and once again, this was just one account of that. This was happening, all right, more during that time. This just wasn't the only time that this happened, or the only account that this happened during that time period, man. So there's going to be more of this that awaits.
It's crazy. Did it say they scarcely left or something like that?
Yeah, so it was like they were horrified, but they were so hungry that they second guessed even leaving. Like, shit, I'm still finna go eat this food.
Man, that shows the mentality that people gonna be in, right? And like the brother mentioned earlier, we're coming into times worse than this. It's like how else you gonna move? Like in Jeremiah 5, the Lord was like, "Fear ye not me." Like that's who we need to fear is the Lord, because the Lord is going to definitely bring these things upon this place.
Yep. You can grab that Lamentations.
Yep. This is
It's all good. Well, just pull it up in the NLT, then I'll read it. Because I'm gonna jump around in it. This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 4, and verse 4. We're gonna read that in the NLT in verse 5. But it says, "The tongue of the suckling child cleaveth to the roof of his mouth for thirst. The young children ask bread, and no man breaketh it unto them. They that did feed delicately are desolate in the streets. They that were brought up in scarlet embrace dunghills." All right, now can we read that in NLT?
This Lamentations 4 and 5. It says the
4 and 4. Start there.
4 and 4. The parched tongues of their little ones stick to the roofs of their mouths in thirst.
Right, that's children starving, man. That's Hosea 4 and 6. "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will reject thee, so that there will be no priest for me, to me. Since thou hast forgotten the law of thy power, I will also forget thy children." All right, so we're going to see a lot of children catching hell, suffering, right? And nobody parents being innocent, man. All right, these little badass kids, man. All right, they got wicked spirits on them. These are spirits that are meant for judgment. And there ain't no telling what they did in their past lives, man. The Lord preserving them from judgment. All right, but go ahead.
It says, "The children cry for bread, but no one has any to give them. The people who once ate the richest foods now beg in the streets for anything they can get." Right,
this would have been the estate of Mary that we're reading here in this the account in the Josephus, man. She was a woman of high status, feeding delicately, right? But go ahead.
It says, "Those who once wore the finest clothes now search the garbage dumps for food."
And we're gonna see that, man. All right, we're gonna see that. The great humbling is coming. These conditions are gonna humble the earth. All right, I'm gonna jump down to verse 9. "They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. For these pine away, stricken through for want of the fruits of the field." So it's better to die by getting shot down, all right, killed in the streets, as opposed to pining away because of the famine, starving to death, man. And a lot of people are going to starve to death, pursuant to that second Ezra that we read. Many are going to perish because of famine. It says, "The hands of the pitiful woman have sodden their own children. They were their meat in the destruction of the daughter of my people." Can you read that verse 10 in the NLT Bible, Kashar?
Yeah, this says, "Tender-hearted women have cooked their own children. They have eaten them to survive the siege."
Man, and that's what's going to happen, and that's what we read about. All right, and these women aren't even tender-hearted towards their children, man, so it ain't going to be nothing. You have women selling their daughters and their sons into fucking sex trafficking, all right, selling them for food, right? This is what's going to be going down. Once again, that's why it says, "Through the terror of the Lord we persuade men," right? But we have to speak about these coming calamities and judgments, man. But we also have the faith to know that, Isaiah 65, Bible Kashah will end it off on that.
It's Isaiah 65.
Because we have to always keep in mind, man, we go into these calamities and we go into what's to come, which is very necessary, all right? But this is all for the wicked. Hey, the famine, I'm going to grab that real quick. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 40 and verse 9. "Death and bloodshed, strife and sword, calamities, famine, tribulation, and the scourge. These things are created for the wicked, and for their sakes came the flood." So this is for the wicked, all right? This is for those that deny Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. This is for those, for your sexy reds. This is for Israelite teachers teaching madness, rebellion in Israel, right? This is for all the niggas that want to boast and commit adultery, okay? For all the wicked. This type of judgment is for them. All right, Adawan Ratazah, we be a part of that number. The Lord has mercy upon us, because we've all committed things worthy unto death. All right, but as the brother had quoted the precept, and we read it in Psalms 103, man, the fear of the Lord. All right, it says, the mercy of the Lord is upon them that fear him. And it also says in the book of Sirach, man, it says that the fear of the Lord driveth away sins, and where it is present, it turneth away wrath. So if you truly fear the Lord, man, you're going to be in a contrite and broken spirit for the sins that you've committed, because you know what you're worthy of. All right. We know that we're worthy of death to suffer things like this, but yet we're begging the Lord for mercy, and we're fighting to offend less. All right, to do what is pleasing in the sight, so that we can escape these things, man. Obtain mercy from Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua in these evil days, man. Even Habakkuk, when he said it, man, when he saw the destruction to come with the chariots, man. See, we just talking about the famine to come. That ain't even talking about the Lord melting motherfuckers in nuclear fire. This is just one of the things that the Lord is going to be bringing upon this place, man. Ripping people to pieces by, man, bears and lions and the beasts to devour, to destroy. There's going to be all types of just gruesomeness, horrible judgments to come, right? But this is how we escape. Hiding in the secret place of the Lord, repenting, all right? You have something?
What was that? Proverbs, or what did you just read before?
Did I quote it?
No,
Or I actually read it?
I think you read it.
Lamentations 4, where it says, the pitiful woman have sodden their children and the destruction of the people.
No, it wasn't that. I didn't want to repeat, but I'll just read it anyway. It says, Proverbs 3:25, it says, be not afraid of sudden fear.
Oh, Salakia. I read Sirach, where it says that these things were created for the wicked. Yep, Salakia.
It says, be not afraid of sudden fear, neither of the desolation of the wicked when it cometh. And I just grabbed that to show that these things that's coming to pass, like the brother was going into earlier, they coming for the wicked. So we need to strive to keep that faith and that fear in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, so that we're not numbered amongst the wicked.
That's right.
But this is Isaiah 65:13. It says, therefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh power, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty.
Right, so the servants of the Lord ain't going to have to go through this, man. Eating their children, you know, starving to death of a famine. Not the servants of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, man. All right, it says that what their bread and their water shall be sure in the book of Isaiah. I believe that's the 33rd chapter. All right. You know, so we gonna eat. Okay. Hey, even in the account, and it was Elijah, if I'm not mistaken. All right, the angel came down and fed him 2 times, and he went in the strength of that meal for 40 days. The spirit can have it to where, yeah, maybe you didn't eat, but the last thing you ate, you feel great. It got you sustained for 3 months. You know, you had a little piece of an apple. It was a damn GMO apple too, but you prayed over it, you blessed it, and the name of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua gave you the strength to last for 3 months, man. And then in that 3 months, you got spiritual power to fly. You know, they ain't eat nothing. That's the power of the Lord, man. All right, that's why the scriptures talk about, man, not limiting the Holy One. All right, the Lord can do all these things, but once again, we have to have faith and believe in these things, man. Great faith is going to allow us to be sustained in these days that we're entering into, man. Through the mercy of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. You got it.
I have one pop in my head. It said, the Lord's arm is not short and that it cannot save, but your iniquities have separated you from the Heavenly Father. So nothing that anybody goes through in these times is the Lord not is too hard for the Lord to deliver them out of.
Yep.
So we just have to keep that mentality, moving the fear of the Lord, and have that understanding that the Lord gonna take care of His servants.
That's right. And hey, because you said how, quoting that precept, Isaiah 59, how our iniquity separated us from the Lord, but now we're returned back. All right, through the atonement of Yahweh Shai, man. All right, now we're at one again. All right, that's why it says, blessed is he whose transgressions are forgiven, whose sins are covered. That's why it says you can't lay anything charged. You can't lay any charge to the elect, roughly paraphrasing the book of Romans. So even though the elect has committed things worthy unto death, have sinned, yet they're receiving the mercy of David. All right, where those sins are being absolved, and they're moving in the fear of the Lord to offend less, right? So hey, we're back at one with Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua again, man. And just because you have mentioned, man, how there's nothing too hard for the Lord, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter, is it 8? Maybe it's 30. Just bear with me. Well, it's, man, I thought it was like 17. Salakia, you can keep reading. I'm gonna find the Lord's will.
This is Isaiah 65:13 again. It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh power, Behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed.
Right, so this is the heritage of the servants of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah, man. To be protected, to be provided for, even in these harsh and evil days, man. Even in these sorrows to come. You know, was there any more on that?
It says, behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit.
Yeah.
Right? Just showing what side we need to be on. We need to be servants of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, yielding our members as servants of righteousness, right? Not unto unrighteousness. Roughly paraphrasing, I think it's Romans 6.
That's right. I'll end it off on this. This is Jeremiah 32 and 27. Behold, I am the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, the power of all flesh. Is there anything too hard for me? All right. Is there anything too hard for the Lord? Well, let's get the answer. I'm going to jump up. Verse 17. Ah, Lord Yahweh, behold, thou hast made the heaven and the earth by thy great power and stretched out arm, and there is nothing too hard for thee. So that's plain to the point, man. So there's nothing too hard. Ain't the situation so tight that we can't be delivered out of, man. And that's where the Lord shows his might. All right, being in those tight jams and then him delivering us out of it, that shows his might and his power. And he wants to show his might and his power in these days. He wants to show, all right, his send his fear throughout the nations, man. He's going to do that through the power that he shows and through the deliverance of his chosen, man. But you got anything out?
I was going to ask, was it Paul who said, "In my weakness is your strength shown"?
Yep. That's it.
We can't do nothing in these times for ourselves. It said, "Richest profit not in the day of evil, but righteousness delivered from evil." Roughly paraphrasing,
Death. Yep.
From death. Right. It really is ultimately it's all to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, right? Because our righteousness is of him at the end of the day, and he's the one that's going to deliver us out of all these things. We just have to have that faith in that. Right? Not the Lord said that he's not going to save those that are faint-hearted, and it says that in the book of Sirach 2.
Yeah. Woe to them that are faint-hearted, for they believe not, therefore shall they not be defended, man. So we have to have faith that it's impossible, all right, to please the Most High without faith, roughly paraphrasing that. So we got to show that faith in the midst of adversity, man. All hell breaking out loose. We're in different tight situations, but we trusting in the Lord that he's going to do what he said he would do. Look out for us, provide for us, deliver us out of all of our troubles. All right, if we got that faith and believe in that, then he's going to move according to it, man. But if we don't have that faith and believe in that, woe to them that believeth not, therefore shall he not be defended. So we have to believe if we want to be defended. We have to believe that in the midst of a famine that we will eat if we want to eat. All right, we have to believe that the Lord is going to lift up a standard if we want a standard lifted up for us, man. Hey, so having that being said, man, Lord's will, I was edifying, man. Lord's will really painted a picture through the spirit of the things that we're heading into, man, to put us in the sober mentality and a repentful mind state to come to the throne of grace, man, and beseech the Lord for mercy in these coming calamities, man, so that he doesn't deliver us unto death and destruction, you know. But having that being said, Lord's what I was edifying, we're going to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect pushing out this word in all sincerity and truth. With that, we're going to say shalom.
Shalom.